It's coming off an absolutely mind-exploding loss. I just cannot believe that they let that game get away, and I'm sure they can't either. They are an angry bunch coming in here today. They control the opening tip. They have the opening touch of this game. Whitworth in the black uniforms. Bearcats in the home golds. Pump fake from Stephen Behil. He gets Tanner Overby to fly past him, then steps inside the line and drills a shot from the top of the key. And Whitworth strikes first on the opening possession of the contest. Hester wheels a pass up top to Overby. Behil on him, pulls up from the elbow, and he matches Behil right back. Two of the very best in the conference, maybe the two very best in the conference, locking up and matching each other with a bucket apiece to open the game. Long outlet ahead. A.J. Tinether able to save it to himself along the sideline in front of his own bench. How about that athleticism from Tinether? The other way, Tanner Overby buries a three. Overby with 5 points already in the first minute of this game on the heels of his 39-point explosion yesterday. Behil crosses the timeline, flips the pass to the corner. On the drive, it's Bateman. Coming off an 18-point performance last night. Behil's three doesn't go as he tries to answer Overby back again. That does not work out. Here's Overby slipping between defenders, gliding all the way to the rim and laying it in. Overby scored 13 of the last 15 points last night. He's got the first 7 for the Bearcats in this one. Blocked from behind by my man Pearson Wiggins. And here comes Tinether the other way. Accelerates toward the baseline, but he's cut off by Looney. And now Overby near the timeline, marked by Nyquist. Dribbles into a double team, maintains the pivot foot, finds the cutter, Tinether. Shot rolls off the heel of the iron, and the rebound gathered by Behil. Bearcats inspired. Both teams playing angry to start this game. To the corner, Looney will try for three. Good rotation on it. It skips off the side of the backboard and into the hands of Caden Bateman, who's there to lay it in. Well, right spot, right time for Caden Bateman. Shot looked good from Looney, but was well off the mark. Now Sandy has it jabbed away. The first turnover of the game for either team, and it's Behil who wants to run. Little Euro step into the paint. Takes off from the Northwest Conference logo and finishes at the rim. Tinether around the Pearson Wiggins screen. Now here's Overby near side. Jabs left, pulls up just inside the three-point line, and all 9 points of the game scored courtesy of Tanner Overby. This is Ty Edwards near side. They rotate things on the perimeter. Nyquist loses control, taken away by Overby. A turnover apiece now. Game's opening moments. Tanner Overby 9, Whitworth 6. Oh, so badly wanted to bellow out, make it 12. But Overby's three skips off the front of the rim, and then the rebound corralled by Edwards. He brings it ahead, and Overby commits the first foul of the game as he gets into the body of Ben Nyquist, the senior from White Swan, Washington. And very nearly wholesale substitutions will make their way onto the floor for the Bearcats. Only Davis Hester will stay on the floor. Deacon Perry, Tyler Stringfellow, Dre Uparesa Thomas, and Adam Asai all check in for the Bearcats. With 22 on the timer for Whitworth. Behil, catch, fire, make. Stephen Behil already making massive waves in this game, just as Tanner Overby has done for the Bearcats. On the overplay, Nyquist, who averages more than 3 steals per game, and apparently Asai was the last to touch it. That's the call anyway. And now Nate Crone will check in for the Pirates. Again, the Pirates all alone atop the standings, but things got a little bit more interesting because of that loss last night. We will sort of break down the last few moments of that game when we have the opportunity. It's a shocking result And now Deacon Perry picks off the long pass. Intended for Ty Edwards, just playing free safety back there. Reels that in. Now here's Hester from the corner, drives the baseline, sealed off, back to Uparesa-Thomas. Drills a three! Dre Uparesa-Thomas with his first shot attempt. He's played very well after missing a couple of games last week. And Asai takes it away at the other timeline from Behil. Asai crosses over, back outside. Hester sets his feet, fires from distance. And it's just a touch too strong. Perry there to reverse it up and in. And Damian Jablonski wants a timeout as the Bearcats open the game. Overby with 9 of the 14 for Willamette. Whitworth able to break pressure, and they'll settle into a half-court look. They want to post up Caden Pateman down low. Instead, he'll drift to the corner and fire from distance, but he leaves it well short, and Perry there for the rebound. Deacon Perry waiting for some teammates, crosses to his left hand and mishandles the basketball out of bounds. So the Bearcats give it right back after the empty trip from Whitworth out of the timeout. Remember, Jablonski called the timeout to set up that very play, and it did not pay off. And now they will send Behil straight down the floor. Gathers a closely guarded pass and has some choice words for the Bearcats as he comes back up the floor after packing it with 2 hands. He's already got 8 of their 10. Here's Stringfellow the other way for 3. Tyler Stringfellow buries a 3-pointer. And the Bearcats lead 17-10. Remember, the Bearcats led by 9 early in Spokane. A near travel from Nate Crone. A little bit of trouble getting it across, but Crone with a couple seconds to spare. Works his way into the front court. Down low it comes. Ball fake from Caden Bateman. Flips up a shot, no good, but he'll head to the line to shoot 2. In that game in Spokane just after New Year's, Bearcats put together a spectacular 11-0 run in the first half. They took a 27-18 lead, but man, Whitworth just went absolutely nuts after that, answering right back with a monster 21-2 burst of their own. And they took a 10-point lead from there. It was a 6-point game at halftime, but Whitworth scored the first 10 points of the second half to take a commanding lead. The Bearcats got it to within 5 with about 4 minutes to play, but were outscored 13-5 the rest of the way in that 80-67 loss. Still so many bright spots in that game. They played well down the stretch. And again, that 11-0 run I think really stunned Whitworth and showed that this Willamette team can play just as well as anybody at any given time in this conference. 5-point Bearcat lead. Here's Uparesa-Thomas. Skips around the half screen from Deacon Perry. Now it's Uparesa-Thomas, puts it behind his back, drives into the paint, kicks back outside. Hester now for 3, a little bit too strong, and Behil there to corral the rebound. Crone ahead now, quickly to the front court, guarded by Hester, slides along the floor, does not get called for the travel, and goaltending will be the call here as Deacon Perry rises up to block that shot, but count the basket for Whitworth. It's now 17-14. As Tenether, Wiggins, and Overby will all check back onto the floor. Davis Hester gets his first break. And Asai and Perry will also come to the sideline for the time being. So the 5 on the floor, Uparesa-Thomas, Tenether, Overby, Wiggins, and Stringfellow, who scored the last 3 points for the Bearcats when he buried that 3 a moment ago. Uparesa-Thomas calmly saunters into the front court. Laterals to A.J. Tenether. Tanner Overby in his 9 points, looking to go to work. Spins back to his left, gets a couple of defenders to move past him. Forces up a shot, nearly gets it to go, and Overby will shoot 2. Tanner Overby, who has not missed a free throw in each of his last 2 games. He was 12 for 12 from the line against George Fox on Tuesday, a perfect 8 of 8 yesterday against Whitman. Steps to the line for the first time tonight. And drains the first of 2. And now A.J. Wolf will check into the game for the first time this evening. Couple quick final scores on the women's side. We were keeping an eye on those. Whitman did wind up defeating Pacific 66-62 in Forest Grove. Puget Sound hung on to defeat Lewis and Clark 73-66. And George Fox just thrashed Pacific Lutheran 75-45. Of course, it was for each of these teams since we've had a bucket. This was, I think, our same score about 2.5 minutes ago. And now Behil will come back onto the floor. Light pressure in backcourt from the Bearcats. And here near side, it's Looney. Crone looking inside, now starts his drive. Gets away from Overby, pulls up from 15, and sticks the mid-range jump shot. Nice little play from Nate Crone to work himself free. Beautiful pass from Sandy to set up Tenether diving to the rim, but he's unable to finish. How about that look from Sandy? Back to the basket. No look, just dropping it off the bounce. It's unfortunate that Tenether couldn't quite pay it off. Now Crone. Sandy comes to help. Bearcats just switching everything outside. Here's Behil around the screen, taps it away from behind, and it makes its way to Overby, but it's jabbed away from him. And rolls to Caden Bateman. And now the other way, Colton Looney, with everyone sort of not in the right spot anywhere, just sets his feet on the perimeter. He drains the three and gives Whitworth their first lead of the game. Now Wolf a straight on three. A.J. Wolf buries it, lets it fly the second it touches his hand. Just inside the logo, about 24 feet out, maybe 25. Behil challenged, bounces it inside for Looney. Can't quite finish right at the rim, tries to save it in bounds, but the only hands he finds are those of Tanner Overby. Walks it across the timeline, has it ripped clean by Nyquist. Nyquist ahead, 2-on-1, bodied by Sandy, and he will head to the line. It is not easy to do. I respect. 9 to play here in the first. First place Whitworth, fresh off a loss against Pacific last night. Bearcats. It's Overby beneath the basket, nowhere to go. Finds Hester. Good ball movement on the perimeter. Uparessa Thomas just loses his footing, and here comes Whitworth the other way. Back-to-back turnovers for the Bearcats. Looney can't hit point blank, gets his own, puts it back. That won't go. Behil there, make it Bateman beneath the basket, and here's Overby with a transition three. Straight on, buries it. Tanner Overby now with 14 points in the first half. And the Bearcats reclaim the lead with 8 to play. 14 points already for Tanner Overby. He is just different. Built different. Behil, he's pretty different himself. Here's an exceptional player. Backing down and turning and falling away from 15 feet. Stephen Behil is an exceptional scorer, y'all. Dude just knows how to play. 6'7". He's got that in his arsenal. Now Overby the other way. Flicks it up, no good. The long rebound corralled in the corner by Hester to keep the possession alive. Uparessa Thomas outside to Overby. Gets into the chest of Nyquist. And Nyquist wants the offensive foul, but I don't think he's going to get it. 7 to play. Gavin Hall is checked into the game for the Bearcats. It's been a while since we've seen him on the floor, the local kid. Good to see him back out there. He had a nice game against Whitworth over in Spokane at the start of the year. Hester back to Uparessa Thomas. Leaves it for Perry beneath the basket, who's able to finish by using the rim on the other side. How about that drive and dish from Dre Uparessa Thomas? Bearcats never panicked, never faltered. Now Behil sets his feet, lets his defender fly past him, and Stephen Behil is just plain good at basketball. 6 for 7 now to start the game. He's got 13 points. My goodness. That dude is phenomenal. Here's Uparessa Thomas, guarded by Lucas Meisner, who's on the floor. The switch puts Edwards on him. Over to Isai. Drives through the lane. Over to Hester now. 8 to shoot. Hester fouled on the floor. Wave off the basket. It's Bearcats basketball out of bounds. As Mike Linehan calls for the play from the sideline. Dylan Westermeyer checks in. Gavin Hall retreats to the backcourt to accept the inbound. 15 to shoot for the Bearcats around the half screen from Perry. Hall reverses now to Davis Hester here near side. 8 to shoot. Spins into the paint. Loses control, has it taken away. Ben Nyquist the other way, his second steal already. Averages more than 3. Here's Behil again. Oh my goodness, Stephen Behil is just playing good. Oh my gosh, 7 for 8 now to start the game for Behil. He's got 16 Haven't even hit the 5-minute mark of the first half. We get a quick look in, but we are back to action here in Salem. We'll try to check on those other scores as time allows. Sandy back on, around the high screen, rolls all the way to the rack and lays it up and in. Everyone fell asleep for Whitworth on that Bearcats possession. And Kellen Sandy, who lulled them to sleep, makes them pay with an easy deuce. The pressure ticks up a notch here in backcourt. Nyquist able to clear the timeline, flips the pass to Behil. You got to step out and meet him right away. Gavin Hall draws the assignment. Little horns look. Not great spacing here, but this is a set play for the Bearcats. Nyquist mishandles the pass, but a foul is called on Dre Uparesa-Thomas. That is his first. 4th overall on the Bearcats in the first half, as now Pearson Wiggins rejoins the fray. And Deacon Perry will make his way to the sideline. Nyquist to inbound. Bounces it off. This is Looney. One step to his left. They work the perimeter. Behil leaves it down low. Ty Edwards, good look, goes right to the rim and lays it in. 4-point Whitworth lead. Under 5 to play now, first half. Uparesa-Thomas near side. Sachets to his right, gets it back from Gavin Hall. Between the legs. Sandy, a couple of nice dribbles. Beautiful pass to Uparesa-Thomas. With a look off, has a good look at a 3, but it's a little bit too strong, and here comes Nyquist quickly the other way. Jabbing right, Westmeyer drives to the rim, can't finish right at the front of the rim, and a strong rebound from Pearson Wiggins. The Bearcats will reset with the ball in Sandy's hand. Sandy. And that's the 3rd steal already for Nyquist. He's at his season average. Transition 3 for the trailer. Looney no good. Behil taps it, but into the hands of Uparesa-Thomas, and back come the Bearcats with under 4 to play now in the first. Overby and Crone with a little conversation going at the scorer's table. That 3 too strong for Hester. Westermeyer, long outlet. Leading Edwards to the basket, got in deep, flips it over. Wide open look for Behil, he's human after all. Now 6 for 8 from the floor. Make it 7 of 9, excuse me. Sandy whistles a pass. Over to Hester, gets it back. Crosses over on Behil, falling away, sits on the rim and falls through. Kellen Sandy, man, that ball hit off the heel, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Now here's Nyquist with a little look off. Nearly travels. Off-balance shot, falling away, no good. And we have reached a stop. Crone crosses to the right, back to the left, guarded. How about this? Igor Sekulic has checked into the game. Now raising up, trying to pack with one hand was Caden Bateman. It goes flying off the rim. Well, this is a bit of a confusing situation. I'm entirely sure what the discussion is between the Bearcats coaching staff and the whether the shot clock should have reset, as Ty Edwards woefully short with his first free throw attempt. Edwards a pretty solid free throw shooter, 68.5% on the season, but looked all kinds of uncomfortable on the release on that first one. So Igor Sekulic hasn't seen a lot of minutes, but he's on the floor now. Haven't seen him in several games. We saw Gavin Hall earlier for the first time in 3 or 4 contests as well. So Mike Linehan trying all kinds of different combinations of personnel here in the first half. It's a 3-point Whitworth lead as AJ Tenether dashes into the lane, kicks to the corner. Sekulic raises for 3. Igor Sekulic drains from distance and ties the game. The first shot attempt in over a month for Sekulic, and he makes a 3-pointer from the corner. Most important, he's tied the game. Linehan pressing buttons and striking gold in the form of Igor Sekulic for a moment. Can Caldera answer? He cannot. Tenether stays with the rebound, goes to the deck, flips it back to Sekulic. He leads the break. Gives it back to Tenether, and the Bearcats will slow things down with 1:45 left in a tie game. Now here's Tenether. Hester from the perimeter starts his drive. Back outside, it's Overby. Jabs right, now backs up with 10 to go. Over to Tenether, long 3 on the way. Good! AJ Tenether buries a 3, and the Bearcats retake the lead, 40-37. They just sagged all the way off Tenether, and a punishing 3-point shot gives the Bearcats a 3-point advantage. Nearing the 1-minute mark of the first half. Crone around the screen, flips it inside to the cutter, and screener Caden Bateman, but he cannot finish at the front of the rim. Under a minute now in half number 1, and Overby wants to slow things down for a second. Now he starts his attack down the left side. Tough off-balance shot, but he tracks down the offensive rebound. And a foul called on Whitworth. Will they get Behil with it? No. It's Brian Caldera committing the foul, as now Colton Looney steps back in. Both teams with fouls to give. That was just team foul number 4 on Whitworth, 5 on the Bearcats. So the shot clock at 20, 45 seconds left in the half. The Bearcats get off a quick shot. They can get a 2-for-1 opportunity. We'll see if that's what they opt to do. It'll be Overby to inbound. Don't be surprised if he comes to get it right away off a pass. Finds Wiggins. And he does get it back near the timeline. Now Overby drifts to the sideline. Looney switches onto him. Gets him in the air. Where does he want to go? Got to shoot quickly. And he's fouled in midair, but that was a foul to give. So the shot clock, well, no, it'll reset to 20 seconds here. So ball out of bounds to the Bearcats on the 5th team foul of the first half for the Pirates. There was 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Now it's 20 with 26 and a half left in the half. A little bit of trouble getting it in. Wiggins skips it up top to Tenether. Tenether holds for the moment. Now Overby comes to get it, where he's met near the timeline by Nate Crone. 8 to go. From 18, Tanner Overby too strong. Plenty of time here for Whitworth. Racing the floor, Caldera, guarded by Sekulic. And a foul called on the floor. That's okay. The Bearcats had one to give. Everyone's complaining about it, but that's actually a pretty smart play when you think about it by Sekulic, as they had the foul to give. So now just 3 seconds remain in the half for Whitworth. The referee here making Uparesa Thomas make his way all the way to the middle of the table to report. He does so. Sekulic to guard the inbounder Caldera with 3.1 seconds. Catch and shoot, Behil from the corner, no good. Rebound Wiggins, and that's how the half will come to Division II, or at the time even NAIA, Chaminade. Monster upset that perhaps is yet to be equaled. First possession of the second half for the Bearcats, as we are underway here in Salem. Bearcats with a 3-point lead, but they turn it over on their first touch of the second half. And it's Colton Looney, hasn't it taken away by Overby. But the ball rolls fortuitously to the hands of Ty Edwards. A long 3 on the way for Nyquist, no good. But Behil tracks down the long rebound. Jabs left, comes right, does Nyquist. Steps around Sandy. Works his way toward the basket. Cannot finish. 31-40 half turnover. Actually, 10 first half turnovers for the Bearcats. 8 for the Pirates. Against a very rugged defensive team. I should say rebounding team for the Pirates. The Bearcats held their own. 18 boards apiece in the first half. No advantage at all. Both free throws good for Nyquist. 1 point lead, and the Bearcats turn it over for the second possession in a row to start the second half. Sandy just throws it right to Nyquist. Give him 4 steals in this game already. Offensive rebound for Edwards. Hands back to Colton Looney. And it didn't take long for the Pirates to find their footing in the second half. They score the first 4 points of the second. And they retake a lead at 41-40. Here's Overby banging into the chest of Ty Edwards as he gets into the middle of the lane. And Edwards called for the foul. It's on the floor. So ball out of bounds for Willamette. 24 on the shot clock. And Overby will be the one to trigger the inbound for the Bearcats. 14 first half points, most of them coming in the first half of the first half for Willamette. And now Hester attempts from long distance. Cannot dial it up, and it's 3 empty trips for Willamette to start the second half. Behil spinning into the paint, and from 13 feet, he extends the lead to 3. The first 6 points of the second half going onto the board for the Pirates. Remember, they scored the first 10 points of the half in their matchup in Spokane. Bearcats need a bucket to stem the tide. Here's Overby. Tough angle. And he comes from out of bounds to save it back inbounds. And I guess that too will go as a turnover. In any event, the Bearcats really scuffling at the offensive end in the first not quite 2 minutes of half number 2. They will pick up pressure. Edwards races the floor, now retreats a step. Looney gives the hands of Bateman in front of his own bench. Damian Jablonski hollering out instructions for his squad. Now Nyquist relays it in. They flip it into the high post. Edwards turns faces, passes to Nyquist, sealed off near the baseline, dribbles it off his foot out of bounds. So a good defensive stand for the Bearcats. One they had to have. They still have not scored in the second half. Let's see if they can get it going on this touch. Sandy around the screen, drifts to the right wing, retreats. Bateman in his face, now Overby near side. Back to Sandy, sets his face, great look at the 3. Pearson Wiggins, a very strong rebound, he's fouled inside. How about Pearson Wiggins going up between 4 Whitworth players, hauling down the rebound. Excellent effort from Pearson Wiggins. And Sandy now to inbound. Tenether glides through the lane. Now Overby from the elbow, pulling up. That one halfway down, and we're going the other way. Loose ball foul whistled against Pearson Wiggins, and still the Bearcats scoreless on their first 5 possessions now of the second half. Tenether and Sandy will come to the bench, replaced on the floor by Stringfellow and Uparesa Thomas. And again, the Bearcats will pick up full court, and a long outlet pass to Stephen Behil, who goes right to the rim and lays it in. And now the first 8 points of the half. Scored by Whitman. Whitman close to equaling exactly what they did in the second half when they scored the first 10 points to take a commanding 16-point lead. They kept the Bearcats at arm's length the rest of the way. Uparesa Thomas to the corner, and the Bearcats just completely out of sorts. And that is a timeout now for Mike Linehan. 6 possessions for the Bearcats so far in the half. 3 turnovers. Have scored the first 8 points of this second half. Looney nearly drags the pivot foot. Can have a little bit of trouble getting it across the timeline, but Bateman with an open lane and seconds to spare. And now Nyquist to run the show. Looney comes to get it, guarded by Uparesa Thomas. Jabbed away for a moment, but retreats to find it to the corner. Skipping to the corner, and it's Caden Bateman, and now an 11-point burst for Whitman. They have equaled what they did to start the second half in Spokane. And now the Bearcats quickly in an 8-point hole. Here's Overby, probing, nowhere to go. Hester comes to help. Now Stringfellow pulls up in the mid-range. That shot way too strong, but it didn't touch rim, so the shot clock did not reset. Overby's got to get a shot off, falling away and drains it. Tyler Overby. Basket counts for Overby, but Wiggins called for a foul away from the action beneath the basket. That's his second. As Perry will come back on, as will Adam Asai. For a much-needed bucket from Tanner Overby. He'll take a break. He's got 16 in the game now. Edwards trapped. Quickly ahead, finds Nyquist. Crone knifes in, kicks back outside. Looney with a good look, and he drains the outside shot. Adam Asai right to the rack. My goodness, how about Adam Asai just taking on everybody? Goes right to the rim, flips it up and in. Outstanding take from Asai. And now Crone a little bit of trouble, and he does not get it across. A backcourt violation for the Bearcats. And some very critical juice now flowing through the veins of this Bearcat squad as they win over Whitworth last night. And in Newburgh, Pacific Lutheran has opened up a 16-point lead on George Fox as they get set for second half action. Been a tough year for Mako Hamilton's squad. And they trail by a bundle as they get set for second half action against the Lutes, who have also had, to this point anyway, a bit of a disappointing season considering how high the expectations were for that team. And oh my goodness, Adam Asai, who even are you? Back-to-back beautiful layups, just streaking right to the cup and laying it up and in. Let's go, Adam Asai. Looney from the corner, dials up another three. And Whitworth answers right back. So some of the momentum killed off right there. And Uparesa Thomas called for the travel. So the Bearcats got a couple nice buckets from Asai. A big defensive stand in backcourt where they forced a 10-second backcourt violation. They could sure use another of those as Whitworth makes their way up the floor. Looney nearly travels. Now Nyquist in the paint, back outside for Looney, jabs right, now goes right, shut down by Asai. Behil back on, backs out near the timeline, guarded by Histard. 10 to shoot, sets his feet, fires from the elbow, falling away, drains another mid-range shot. Stephen Behil, this just in, is really good at basketball. Stringfellow. East-west pass, finds Asai, his three no good. Hester, though, keeps the possession alive. Stringfellow in the corner. Asai gets a running start, slams on the brakes, back outside for Stringfellow, tries to drive, outside the paint. Can he get around Behil? Forces up a shot, but able to muscle it up and in. How about Tyler Stringfellow going right at Stephen Behil? Able to convert, and a big bucket for the Bearcats. Nyquist down low, finds Ty Edwards. Back to the basket, all alone beneath the basket, Carson Talbert. And he lays home the easy bucket. Now a foul whistled against Carson Talbert. That'll be the 4th, I believe, on Whitworth. Make that the 3rd foul on Whitworth. First of the game on Talbert is now Tanner Overby does come back on, as does Pearson Wiggins. It'll be Uparessa to inbound. And now Overby trying to operate on Edwards. Instead reverses back to Uparessa Thomas, loses the ball out of bounds. And a couple of turnovers here in the last couple of possessions. Willamette continues to kind of be pretty unfocused and a little sloppy. Perhaps even a little tentative at the offensive end. They were playing a fearless brand of basketball in the first half, but the energy, the juice is not quite the same here so far in half number 2, but there's so much basketball left. But this is a precarious stage to be in. You trail by 10. And Overby just rips it away, goes right to the rim, has to make the midair adjustment thanks to the guy trailing him, but he does so. Goes to the other side and lays it up and in. Another hoop at the other end for Whitworth as Talbert. Man, this Whitworth team is just, they have such quick strike capabilities. You have to get down the floor so quickly against this Whitworth team. They change gears so well. Talbert not at all one of the regular scoring threats on this team, but he converts the conventional three-point play. Here's Overby. Tenether now down the right side, absorbs some contact, goes high off the glass. Very well could have been a foul call. Westermeyer in some trouble, but able to find a teammate. Now Behil dribbles into a 3. A touch too short. And another foul called on the Bearcats beneath the basket, away from the shooter. They get Stringfellow this time, his first, team's 5th. Sekulic will come back on. Igor Sekulic, who drained a big 3. Native of Serbia. So 61-50 the score. Behil takes the inbound, flips it immediately to Talbert, drives down. They try to force it inside to Edwards, but it's taken away by the Bearcats, and here comes Overby the other direction. Straight line drive, right at the basket, gets in the air, absorbs the contact. He'll head to the line for his chance at an and one. Overby end to end. Nobody stronger, nobody tougher. Overby now with 20 in the game on 8 of 16 shooting from the floor. As Pearson Wiggins will step back on, or excuse me, Deacon Perry steps back on in place of Pearson Wiggins. Overby good on the free throw, give him a team high 21 points. And he commits a silly foul in backcourt on the far sideline. And that's already team foul number 6 on Willamette, so Whitworth is in the bonus for the final 12 minutes of this game. One of the reasons I am such a big proponent of the men's game going to quarters, resetting the fouls after 10 minutes of play. And oh my goodness. Pearson Wiggins called for a hold. That Whitworth player was just, Matt Logie took over from Jim Hayford. He had a great 8-year run before leaving to take the Point Loma job. That's a Division II school down in San Diego. He's now at Montana State. You might remember Matt Logie led that Montana State program to a first 4 Division I coaching experience. I don't believe Jim Hayford is coaching at the moment, but Matt Logie's still putting in work at Montana State. Things have been good under Jablonski for sure 4 national tournament appearances in 6 seasons, and a steal by Deacon Perry. And he gets called for a carry. Overby knocks down both free throws to make it a 4-point game. I know the crowd doesn't like it, but there's a little bit of a, I don't think that's necessarily a terrible call by any means. The crowd liked it a lot, disliked it a lot more than me. And now Ty Edwards is putting in work beneath the basket for Whitworth. He puts that back home after a couple of offensive rebounding opportunities for the Pirates. It's back to a 6-point lead. Uparessa Thomas head up. Spins back outside the lane. Overby catches. Jabs left a couple of times. Retreats to the logo. 12 to shoot. Crosses to the left. Bodied by Westermeyer. Spins away from him. Launches from 16. Just a little bit too short. And with a head full of steam, here comes Caldera the other way. Quickly into the paint. Gallops Talbot. It will be Whitworth basketball with 25 to shoot. So just to put a little bow on the point about Damien, exactly 11 minutes to play. Another little bit of trouble for the Pirates getting the ball inbounds. Down low it comes. Colton Looney, nowhere to go, gets it back out. Now Edwards beneath the basket, can't finish. Put back won't go, but he'll head to the line. This century is Caden Bateman, NAIA Division II national champs. The man whose name adorns the court here in Salem, Gordy James, leading that national championship effort. 8-point game, exactly 7.5 to play. Sandy with the handle. Asai back on, calls out the play here on the near side. This likely a short break for Tanner Overby. Here's Sandy, gets around his defender and able to bounce it home. Big bucket for Sandy, draws the Bearcats back within half a dozen. More pressure in backcourt. Peyton surveys, but his hands back to Ty Edwards, but it's jabbed away from behind. Asai, however, you can't. Okay, they started to award a timeout to Whitworth, but I don't think you can call a timeout falling out of bounds any longer. In fact, they will now overrule it. So initially, that's a rule. They try to get away from allowing players to call timeouts while falling out of bounds. And while they initially got that call wrong, they did reverse it and get it right. So it is Bearcats basketball after they force a turnover. Good effort from Nyquist to keep it alive, but Bearcats basketball. Sandy drops it off for Tinether. Fights his way through a double team. Asai's pass deflected, but winds up with Sandy. Asai now on the drive, back outside, Uparessa Thomas, and it's Nyquist again. Gets to the basket, can't finish, but wave off the basket for Caden Williams, I think. What's the call? Over the back, or is it a foul on the Bearcats? They will call Uparessa Thomas for the foul. And Caden Bateman will shoot one. It has been an uneasy second half here inside Cone Fieldhouse. Bearcats continue to scrap, continue to battle, continue to grind. Here's Sandy for three. Got it. Much needed 3 points from Kellen Sandy. He has scored the last 5 for the Bearcats. And Asai commits the foul in backcourt. And it'll be 2 shots upcoming for Whitworth. Much at all from Behil for Whitworth. 6 more here in half number 2. 8-point game, Overby back on the floor. Can only assume the offense pretty much has to run through him the rest of the way for the Bearcats to have their best shot at winning this game. And another steal for Nyquist. Races the other way, absorbs some contact, no call, and Nyquist able to finish through it. 10-point game. Trey Uparessa Thomas for 3. Strong rebound, Caden Bateman. Man, Nyquist is really showing out of the defensive end in this game. That foul going against Uparessa Thomas, and Caden Bateman will shoot two. This Whitworth team is just so strong. If you're curious, 91, that would have been against Warner Pack. Doug, 1905, credited with scoring 40 points in a single game for the Bearcats. So those are the three players that have eclipsed 40 in a single game for Willamette. Tanner Overby, the fourth highest number ever in the history of Bearcats basketball, 39 points last night. He eclipsed, by the way, two others from 120 years ago. I kid you not. Bob Lundahl had 38 3 days before that Doug Holden 40-point performance, also 120 years ago. 9 days prior to that, Ed Grossenbacher also had 38, also 120 years ago. So back in May of 1905, three different Bearcats basketball players all scored at least 38 points in a single game. Four players are tied with 37, all much more recently, but still quite a while ago. All those happened between 95 and 2001. No one has scored more than 36 since 2008 when Cameron Mitchell hit that number against UPS. Shot clock winding down. Here's Overby, forces it off. It rolls home! Tanner Overby hits a huge three for the Bearcats, and they've got some life with under 5 to play. It's back to a 9-point Whitworth lead. So Overby now with 26. Speaking of three-pointers, Ryder Shung, you might recall, just last year scored 35 in a single game for the Bearcats, and he set the all-time single-game record by hitting 10 threes against Whittier November of 2024. So Ryder Shung, if you're watching tonight's game back home. And how about that A.J. Tenether move? And it's 5 quick points for the Bearcats. They're right back in the game. Down 7, 4 to play. A little bit of trouble getting it across the timeline, but here comes Bateman rumbling into the front court. Off-balance layup, somehow able to go. Big-time shot for Caden Bateman. And here's Overby, near side. Goes right at Westermeyer, spins right back into the paint, double clutch midair. Shot falls off. And that over. Edwards retreats to get it, but quickly finds Ben Nyquist in the front court. Under 3.5 to play, 10-point game. Nyquist has played a really good game. Hasn't scored a bunch of points, but man, defensively, just an absolute beast. He spins away from one defender, steps around Wiggins, and he'll head to the line. Potentially, Nyquist 73%. Didn't like that call. As Sandy, he misses both free throws. So if he didn't like that call, as Sandy tees up a three, buries that, and it's back down to 7. So if he didn't like that call, a little basketball court justice as he misses both free throws, and here comes Nyquist across the timeline with Hester in his pocket. And Sandy has his arm wrapped right around the waist of Ty Edwards. That's a pretty easy call. That's his third. And it'll send Edwards to the free throw line. Senior from Sumner, Washington. Edwards, Sandy. 377. Quickly right into the paint, off balance. Deacon Perry tips it home. And now it's a 2-possession game. 83-77, 2.5 to play. They kick it ahead to Westermeyer. He works his way to the basket, patiently gets into the chest of Deacon Perry, and rolls that shot home. Tough take, good finish, Westermeyer. Now Overby fouled on the floor. It will send him to the line, but this will be a 1-and-1 as Nyquist commits the foul. Behil 22. Earns the bonus by cashing the front end. Drains that, and Damian Jablonski calls for the Boxers. And they cashed in on all of them, taking a lead with 11 seconds left. And forcing Kobe Parlin into a tough shot from the elbow that fell off as time expired. And now the Bearcats force a turnover as Ty Edwards staggers to the floor, travels in the process. And the Bearcats right in this game. Maybe the ghosts of last night and the complete meltdown that Whitworth had in the closing moments of that game kind of playing in their heads just a little bit here. Bearcats with a huge opportunity at the offensive end, and here's Overby pulling up for three. Got it! Tanner Overby buries a three-pointer. It's a one-point game with 2 minutes to play. Could it happen all over again to Whitworth? Quickly ahead, one-handed flush. Caden Bateman. Beautiful kick ahead from Stephen Behil. And here comes Tanner Overby again. 30 points for the third game in a row. Finds Perry beneath the basket and shot blocked, however, by Behil. Oh my goodness. Great find from Overby.
We're good.
Better defense from the Pirates. Here's Behil. Overby in his pocket. Minute and 15 left. 5-point game. Bearcats must get a stop. Slipping through, Edwards off the glass goes Bateman. Back-to-back buckets for Caden Bateman, and it's back to a 7-point Whitworth lead. Overby's pass deflected and stolen away. Westermeyer skips into the front court. Bearcats calling for a foul. And now Damian Jablonski. A little over 51 seconds left in this game. Nyquist, ball above his head, flips it up top. And we're going the other way. Behil plows through the solar plexus of Kellen Sandy. Little super suplex off the top rope sends him to the mat. And now A.J. Wolf and his sharp shooting abilities will check into the game for the Bearcats. In place of Deacon Perry, Damian Jablonski will counter by sending Ty Edwards back to the floor. So the Bearcats force the turnover on the offensive foul, the second of the game on Behil. 50 seconds left, 7-point game. The Bearcats have got to score on basically every possession the rest of the way. To the corner, Hester raises for three, off the front of the rim. And the rebound tapped and into the hands of Nyquist. He could not get the shot. And now 30 more today. Sandy, Bearcats have to go quickly. Sets his feet, fires from beyond the three-point line. Too strong, tend to throw the offensive rebound. Hester works it back to Sandy. Sandy now drives down the right side. Overby from the corner, good! Big time three from Overby. He's got 33 in this game. 5-point game, 20 seconds left. Overby quickly ahead. First free throw good for Bateman. Second on its way, no good. 2-possession game, here we go. Overby quickly ahead. To the corner, Hester. Sandy sets his feet, fires away. Oh, does just roll off. And the rebound comes down to Stephen Behil. That is the 5th foul of the game on Pearson Wiggins. So he fouls out for the final 7 seconds of this contest. Just that close. Sandy had a great look at that three. When he let that go, I was 80 to 90% certain anyway that that thing was going to go down, but it slipped just off the rim. Behil's been in the right spot many a time tonight here for the Pirates. 22 points, 8 rebounds. This is his first trip to the free throw line. And that first free throw makes it a 3-possession game with 7 seconds to play. So that should just about do it. And Mike Linehan will call his final timeout ahead of this possession. Corner. 3. That's 2 Portland. bonkers stuff happening around the rest of the league. 7 seconds here in Salem. Here's Uparessa Thomas. Long pass ahead, finds Tenether. Leans into a three. That's too strong, and that will finish the contest here. Man, the Bearcats gave this one just about every single ounce of juice they had. In the end, Whitworth just too good. 93